Hey everybody, welcome to Carbon's DIY Garage. Today's video is going to be more of a vlog update type of thing versus a step-by-step how-to, but I've got a piece of paper in front of me to remind me of all the things that I have done in the past to try to get this womp 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 throbbing type noise that you hear in the cabin anytime you're going above 25 or 30 miles an hour, trying to get rid of that. So here's a sound clip or a video clip of what that sounds like. So over the last 2 years, I have done a lot of work on this TJ because it needed it. With some of it was in the hopes of making that sound go away, or at least figure out what it was. So these are the things that I've already done. I've replaced the front differential pinion seal and yoke, the rear pinion seal and yoke, the rear sway bar bushings and links, the front and the back actually, the entire front end, the rear brakes, the rear axle bearings and seals on both sides, front brakes and rotors and everything. The right rear axle, so the passenger side axle, had the rear end rebuilt, so that's all the bearings on the carrier on both sides and also the pinion bearings. They also looked at all the gears are in good shape. Rear main seal, the entire exhaust, the transmission and engine mounts. Of course the axle fluid has been replaced a few times through all that work. Tires have been rotated and balanced, exhaust isolators have been replaced. The front engine mounts, the U-joints on both the front and the rear drive shafts, the rear track bar, all 8 of the control arms, and new shocks and springs front and back. So I've done a lot of work, and that's really just the driveline work. I've done other things, and this channel is full of videos of all of those projects if you want to go in depth on any of those things. And I actually have a playlist for TDSR. So TDSR is that doesn't sound right, and that is in honor of this noise that I can't seem to isolate and can't get rid of. So recently the thing that I've done with that is I bought a magnetic microphone that can record MP3s, so it's a little microphone, and I attached it to various places underneath the Jeep, on the rear axle in a few different places, on the body in a few different places, and I just wanted to listen to the noise and see if I could isolate where it might be louder or more consistent in one spot to maybe help isolate where it's coming from, because it definitely only happens when you're driving under load. So if you're accelerating or even just keeping constant pressure on the gas pedal, you're going to get that noise. But as soon as you let off on the gas, either just to coast or to push in the clutch, the noise dies down and almost goes completely away. I've had the Jeep up off the rear wheels and run the Jeep up to maybe 30, 35, but even 40 miles an hour, and the noise doesn't really show itself then. So it's really only when you're driving. And so I did that with the microphone, and I put some audio here on the video, but it really was just, you wouldn't be able to tell anything through the video listening to it. I'm sure I could isolate frequencies, get a better setup, and be a lot more scientific about it. But what I did hear just a little bit, you can hear it mostly on the right side when the microphone was anywhere on the right side, but really when it was attached to the axle itself. So that got me thinking that there has to be something that and I said the right side, I meant the driver's side, the left side. There's got to be something going on that I haven't messed with yet. And the only thing I can think of is that when I replaced the axles, I replaced the passenger side axle because it was clearly shot and pitted, and it needed to be replaced. And I replaced both the seals and the bearings on both sides, but I left the original, and I'm pretty sure it's the original axle here on the passenger side. So yeah, I'm kind of just throwing parts at it, but I really don't know what else is left. The gears are in good shape, everything else is in good shape, or it's brand new. And the sound has not changed since I bought the Jeep. So 2 years of consistency, the only thing I haven't changed is the axle. So I'm going to give that a shot. Yeah, it's throwing $150 in parts at it, but the axle is also 25 years old, so it can't do any harm by replacing it. So since I have done axle and bearings and seal replacement before, again, it's not going to be an in-depth video, I'll show you some video of me doing it, but again, in the playlist, and I'll put up here in the corner a link to the video on how to go do that. Everything's also in the video description. And if you've watched this far of me just going on and kind of talking about this, the other thing is that I have not started the work yet. I'm not making this intro afterwards. I haven't dug into anything, so we're gonna you'll get my raw reactions after we get it installed and then go take it for a drive. I really don't know how it's going to turn out, so I'm hoping for the best. But again, in the end, do no harm is my goal, and let's not make it any worse. So let's go ahead and get started. So just to compare the old and the new axles, they're the same size, same number of splines, so I know it's going to fit. But looking at the bearing surface on the old axle, yeah, you can tell that it's been rolling around on the bearings, but it's not pockmarked, it's not wobbly, it's not rough. So I'm going to replace it, obviously, but I really don't think this is what's causing all that noise. New one's obviously nice and smooth, and the other end here, there's nothing weird looking on the old axle. The new axle splines are a little bit longer, but same size, same length and everything. So go ahead and replace both the bearings and the seals as well, even though those are brand new, pretty much. So I don't think that's gonna be the problem either, but for here, we may as well do it all. All right, friends, the differential is full, it's not leaking, and wheels are back on the ground. All that's left now is take it for a test drive. Like I said, I highly doubt anything will have changed with that noise, but there's really only one way to find out, so let's go see what happens. Well, the test drive got delayed 24 hours, but just got back from driving it around the neighborhood, and it's pretty much what I expected. The new axle didn't fall out, and the axle works great, but that noise is exactly the same, it's still there. And at this point, I've tried everything I can think of, aside from maybe re-gearing the rear end. But I think that'd be throwing parts at it too, because I just really don't know if that's gonna fix it or not. So at this point, I'm gonna call it a unexplained anomaly, and I guess we're just gonna live with it. But it's got all new driveline parts now, so that's good. But it is what it is. TDSR doesn't sound right. But we'll wrap up this little vlog, I guess, and a little sordid tale of this TJ. Comments, questions, drop them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to see a lot more content coming down the road. And hey, if you want to prop out the parts supply bank account for TDSR or the other projects, buymeacoffee.com or super thanks down below. Greatly appreciated. But just hang out, watch the videos. That's what really counts the most. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time.